Identity line finally seems to be getting back into form. We'll talk about why, what happened that they got off to a slow start, and what it means for the team going forward to get the identity line back into their old form. We also have a full preview of this weekend's games: Friday at home against Arizona, Saturday at home against Toronto, and a Hall of Famer who won 4 Stanley Cups with the Islanders is our Islanders' birthday of the day. Lots to get to on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
You're Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the weekend edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could join us and be a part of the Locked On Islanders family. And thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Lots to get to on today's show. The identity line finally breaking out of its early season doldrums. We'll talk about why they got off to a slow start and what their return to form means for this Islanders team going forward as the Islanders fight to get back into the playoff race. We'll also have a complete preview of Friday night's game at home against the Arizona Coyotes and Saturday's game at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, John Tavares back in town. We'll talk about that. And let's hope the Islanders can get at least 3 out of a possible 4 points this weekend, maybe even 4, as they continue their climb back toward playoff contention. And then finally, our Islanders' birthday of the day, a Hall of Famer, a member of all 4 Islanders Stanley Cup winning teams during the dynasty years. So make sure you join us for that as we look back at a special moment in his career. If you've got something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to email the show. The email address is lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYRVSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So I'll give you some instant insight and analysis, and it's always great to interact with fans and discuss whatever it is that's going on. So please do feel free to follow on Twitter and get in touch with me during games or really at any time. So we're going to start today off discussing the identity line and the Casey Cizikas, Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck. They have been called the best 4th line in hockey, and they have really been important to this Islanders team during the last 2 years when the Islanders went to the conference final in back-to-back seasons. And early this year, none of the 3 players really were off to a great start this year. And it's understandable given the situation. Matt Martin started, missed parts of training camp because of injury, missed the beginning of the regular season because of a lingering injury, and that kept him out of the lineup. Casey Cizikas has missed time due to injuries and due to COVID. And at the end of the day, while Cal Clutterbuck has been the most consistent member of the trio so far this year, the fact of the matter is, and we've said this before on the show, and it hasn't changed, Casey Cizikas, Matt Martin, and Cal Clutterbuck play better together than they are when there's only 2 of them in the lineup or 1 of them in the lineup. The whole really is greater than the sum of its parts. They have a unique chemistry. They play off each other well. They know where they're going to be, and they complement each other's game exceptionally well. When the identity line is on, they set the tone for this Islanders team. They are physical. They are aggressive, not in a dirty penalty kind of a way where they're going to take penalties and get you shorthanded all the time. No, they forecheck well. They hit. They take and give the body well. And when you hear opposing players or coaches or members of the media who watch the Islanders say the Islanders, when they're playing well, are a difficult team to play against, they are referring very often to the way that the identity line sets the tone for that style of play. So, yeah, they'll pitch in the odd goal, and yes, Casey Cizikas and Cal Clutterbuck. Cizikas had a 20-goal season. Clutterbuck earlier in his career came close. Matt Martin, certainly can get on a hot streak now and again, and like we saw him do in the playoffs last year, where all of a sudden he was putting in a few pucks into the net. But that's not really the reason that they're out there game in and game out. That's not why Barry Trotz has them starting a lot of games. They set the tone, and the rest of the team tends to follow. So, the fact of the matter is that, when Casey Cizikas didn't have any goals for the first 20-odd games that he played in this year, that is just not where you want to be. And yet now, with all three healthy, this trio, Cizikas now with goals in back-to-back games. Matt Martin, still only 1 goal, 2 points in 24 games. Cal Clutterbuck, 5 goals, 8 points in 32 games. Clutterbuck and Cizikas also very good on the penalty kill. That's an important factor. And Casey Cizikas, big on faceoffs. He will win important draws for a team that really does need that aspect of the game. So it is not surprising that the Islanders are back to NHL 500 as of now, when the identity line is healthy, on the ice at the same time, no one is sick, no one is injured, and they have been able to play together for the last few games, and it really is showing. And so many people were quick to write these guys off. Oh, they're all on the wrong side of 30, and we haven't, maybe this is not the same line that it was a year or 2 or 5 years ago or whatever. Okay, these guys may be a little bit past their prime, maybe, but together they are still more than capable of making a difference for the Islanders and being one of the, if not the best fourth lines in the National Hockey League. I'll say it right now. The Islanders starting to move up in the standings. And, based on point percentage, the Islanders are now in 5th place in the Metropolitan Division. They will not go on a playoff run without the strong contributions of the identity line and keeping those guys healthy, keeping those guys together, and having them all play close to their capabilities is going to be a big part of the Islanders' hopes to make that playoff run this year. We've seen them start to play better, and we've seen the results in the win column for the New York Islanders so far this year. We've got a lot more to get to on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. We'll preview both of this weekend's games against Arizona and Toronto, and we've got a 4-time Stanley Cup winner and an NHL Hall of Famer as our Islanders' birthday of the day. All that and more still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. It's the new year, and that means New Year's resolutions. And if yours is about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, maybe even better than a candy bar. So Built Bar makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good you'll want to eat it. Some other protein bars, they could be chalky or waxy or taste like a chemical spill, but Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate, and most Built Bars contain just 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, but they pack 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has about 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. And there's so many great flavors to choose from. Coconut almond, peanut butter brownie, raspberry, cookies and cream, salted caramel, which has always been my favorite, mint brownie, and many more. In fact, Built is always coming out with new limited time flavors. So check out Built.com to see what's new. Go to Built.com right now, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. So the Islanders have 2 games this weekend, and both of them are at home. And again, we talked about the importance of the Islanders getting on a winning streak. The Philadelphia Flyers, that is definitely a start to now. Tonight, they will face the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona struggling 10-4 and 4 right now. The game is a 7 start at the UBS Arena, and it's another opportunity for Islanders to really start picking up more points in the standings. Look, Arizona, 30th in goals scored, 30th in goals against, 31st in the 32-team league on the power play with just a 12.6% conversion rate, and 30th on the penalty kill with a 73.1% success rate. Bottom line, this team is struggling in all facets of the game. Now, they have been playing a little bit better as of late. You're getting some better play from players like Clayton Keller, who leads the team with 14 goals and 30 points. Phil Kessel leads the team with assists with 22. Lawson Krause, who has 10 goals, as does Travis Boyd. These are players who are playing better. Islander fans, let's add this. Jacob Chikrin, who has been rumored to be on the trading block, who a lot of people have said the Islanders might be interested in acquiring. You get to take a look at him if he's in the lineup. Another familiar face for Islander fans, former Islander Andrew Ladd. Ladd so far 5 goals, 8 points in 30 games for the Coyotes. We look at the line combinations. Again, always sort of tricky with everything else going on in the league. But Johan Larsson is the top line center with Lawson Krause and Phil Kessel on his wings. Travis Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz are the second line. Riley Nash is the pivot on the third line with Andrew Ladd and Christian Fischer on his wings. And then Alex Galchenyuk centers the fourth line with Liam O'Brien and Louis Eriksson on either side of him. On defense now, it's Shane Gostisbehere and Dan Mayo is the top pairing. Janice Moser and Anton Stroman are the second grouping, and Chikrin and Ilya Lyubushkin are the third pairing. In goal, you have a duo right now of Karel Vejmelka and Ivan Prosvetov. So not always easy on those pronunciations, but that's the goaltending duo. Right now, a lot of injuries for this team. Connor Timmins, Carter Hutton, Dmitry Oskin, Barrett Hayton, and Jay Beagle all on the IR. Antoine Roussel and Ryan Zingle in COVID protocol. Again, whether or not those players will be back for tonight's game, you always have to check with the COVID protocols, and we'll try to get you an update as soon as we hear something via Twitter. But again, the Islanders should be able to take advantage of a struggling Arizona Coyotes team. Now, keep in mind, they've won 3 of their last 5, including their last 2. Now, they've beaten, New Jersey and Montreal in those 2 games, 2 teams that are also struggling. The 2 losses with a home and home with Colorado. And before that, they beat Toronto. So, again, Arizona playing better hockey as of late, even if they are still at or near the bottom of the NHL standings. Now, Saturday, the Islanders will move on game string before the all-day can swing a thing, and that 7 of the 11 games are against teams that are struggling right now. Well, Arizona is one of them. Toronto is not. They've lost 2 of their last 3, blew an early lead to the Rangers at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday. That was their last game before they faced the Islanders. So Toronto will be well rested while the Islanders will come a back-to-back. Austin Matthews, obviously, one of the game's elite players, 25 goals and 41 points in 34 games. William Nylander, 16 goals, 37 points. And John Tavares, someone who Islander fans know and loathe, although maybe it's time to start letting go a little bit of that bitterness. Tavares, 15 goals, 36 points in 36 games. You know, he was rarely ever a point-a-game scorer for the Islanders. But Toronto plays a bit more of an offensive mind system, and that allows for more scoring opportunities for John Tavares. Jack Campbell has started 28 games for the Leafs in goal, 19, 6, and 3, a 2.24 goals against average, and 9.27 save percentage. You look at the statistics, 9th in goals for, 6th in goals against. When was the last time Toronto was that high in the goals against category? Power play and penalty kill, both very strong. They are 2nd in the league on the power with a 29.5% conversion rate, 7th on the PK with 80.5%. You look Austin Matthews, 9 play goals. Nylander and Tavares have 5 each. Jason Spezza, 7 goals in 33 games, but 3 of those goals have come on the power play. Mitch Marner and Morgan Riley with a lot of assists as well with the extra attacker. So, Toronto, team-wise, is a dangerous team, the Islanders. Right now, as we look at the line combinations, Austin Matthews centers, Michael Bunting and Mitch Marner on the top line. Tavares centering the second line with Alexander Kerfoot and William Nylander on either side of him. David Kempf is the third line pivot with Ilya Mikheyev and Pierre Engvall on his wings, and Jason Spezza is the fourth line center with Kyle Clifford and Wayne Simmons, the veteran, on either side of him. Morgan Riley and TJ Brody are the top defense pair. Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liebren are the second pairing, and then Travis Dermott and Alex Biega are the third pairing. The goaltenders right now, Jack Campbell and Peter Mrazek. As far as the injury situation, Jake Muzzin listed, and then 3 players in COVID protocol, Nick Ritchie, Andre Casse, and Justin Holt. So again, keep your eyes and see if any will be able to return on Saturday. To me, the Islanders need to try to get at least 3 points out of 4 in this weekend's games. That would keep the momentum going. And, the Islanders start to turn the corner a little bit, but they've got to, there's very margin for error right now, as we've talked, if they want to get back into the playoff hunt. When we return, we will have Islanders' birthday of the day, one of the all-time great Islanders, a Hall of Famer, and a winner of 4 Stanley Cups on the island, a player who really made the difference, one of them, in the Islanders, who were just a very good team in the mid to late 70s, to a team that ended up winning 4 straight Stanley Cups from 1980 to 1983. So all that and more still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. It's a new year, and they have a new updated desktop and mobile website. So sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON, that's locked on one word, to get started. So yes, use that promo code, and betonline.ag will give you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit because you listen to the Locked On Islanders podcast. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, so check out BetOnline, where the game starts. Time now for our Islanders' birthday of the day, and I'll tell you, Saturday, former forward Mike Bossy. Bossy round 15th overall in 1977. Also drafted by the WHA, who, of course, were Wayne Gretzky's first team, but he stayed the Island. How good was he in juniors? Goals in his first year, full year with Laval. 84, 79, and 75 goals. That was his his 4 seasons in junior. As a rookie, 50 goals with the Islanders in 73 games. His career high 69 goals in 1978-79. He had 50 goals in every season of his NHL career until his last, which was 1986-87, when he only, and I'll put only in air quotes, scored 38 goals. And that was in 63 games, and his bad back forced him to retire. Here is a winner of 3 Lady Byng trophies. The Calder Trophy is the NHL's top rookie in 77-78, and the Conn Smythe Trophy in 1981. So many hat tricks over the course of his NHL career. We're going to go back and at his first NHL hat trick, February 4th, 1978, at the Nassau Coliseum, Washington Capitals in town. Bernie Wolf, the goalie for Chico Resch, in between the pipes for the Islanders, and it was the first with Larry Blanche holding. Mike Bossy pots his 37th goal of the year. Brian Trottier and Stefan Pearson with the assist at 7:07. 1-0 Islanders. Exactly 4 minutes later, 2-0 Islanders on a goal by Mike Kazicki, his 7th from Bobby Nystrom and Bob Bourne at 11:07. Islanders up by 2. And then a minute, 3 seconds after that, Bossy gets his 2nd of the game, 38th of the year. Clark Gillies and Brian Trottier with the assist at 12:10. The Trio Grande line striking there, as it was Bossy from Gillies and Trottier. In the second period, the Capitals do get on the board. Guy Charon, his 21st from Bob Sirwa at 5:09, spoils Chico Resch's shutout bid, but the Islanders answer. Billy Harris, his 14th from Wayne Merrick and Stefan Pearson at 10:26. After 2 periods, Islanders 4 and the Capitals 1. In the third, Mike Bossy completes the hat trick. His 39th goal of the season. Clark Gillies and Brian Trottier with the assist at 16:04. Wayne Merrick adds an unassisted goal at 17:49, his 7th of the year, to close out the scoring, and the Islanders cruise to a 6-1 win over the Capitals. For Mike Bossy, our Islanders' birthday of the day, 3 goals, a +2, 1 power play goal, and 5 shots on goal, which tied him with Dennis Potvin for the team lead. Islanders outshoot the Capitals 38-23, and they win by a score of 6-1. And for Mike Bossy, wish him be 60 and more likely he can make a speedy and complete recovery. Right, and wish Bossy all the best. I did have the good fortune to speak to him several times. He was a fixture at the Nassau Coliseum for many years, up in the press box and in the lecting with fans. Always a nice guy, always gracious, a good guy to talk to. So Mike Bossy, pure goal scorer, the best pure goal scorer in NHL history. Listen to this: 752 NHL games, 573 goals, 1,126 points, only 210 career penalty minutes. And then in 129 playoff games, when goals are harder to get, 85 goals and 160 points. And of course, the 4 Stanley Cups for Mike Bossy. So happy 65th and get well soon to Mike Bossy. He is our Islanders' birthday of the day. Big weekend for the Islanders. Hopefully, again, 3 or 4 points would be fantastic. And it would, as they continue to fight to get back into the playoff run. We'll be back on Monday with a complete recap on our key takeaways from the 2 games, plus all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. So make sure you join us then. Thanks again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets. It's your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. It's hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. Locked On Bets is free and available on all platforms. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy, stay safe, and of course, let's go Islanders.